In this video, I want to explain some key differences between human thinking and large language model thinking. Large language models are amazing. They can write essays, answer questions, summarize text, translate languages, generate images, and much more. At first glance, it seems that they think like us humans. But upon closer inspection, we find that their thinking is very different from ours. Let's start with learning. Both humans and AI learn via complex neural networks. Biological neural networks for humans and artificial neural networks for AI. However, there are two key differences between how these two types of neural networks learn. First, humans learn dynamically and can learn effectively from just a few examples. We can learn from one lecture how to ride a bike, or from a single instance of holding a cup, how hot liquids are. This is due to neuroplasticity, which means that the strength of connections between neurons can change based on experience. In contrast, AI is not very good at learning from a few examples. They need to be trained with massive data sets, and if their training set contains biases, they will reproduce and amplify those biases. Second, humans have unsupervised and self-supervised learning. We can discover regularities in our environment and create concepts and categories without being explicitly told to do so. For example, we can look at a dog and decide that it's a dog without having previously been told what a dog is. AI, however, are typically not capable of unsupervised or self-supervised learning. They need to be explicitly told what to do and what a concept is, before they can identify instances of that concept. Once humans and LLMs have learned something, there are further differences in how they process information. Human processing is massively parallel and concept-based. We recognize that a new instance is a dog because we simultaneously retrieve many features, such as the shape of its eyes, ears, body, tail, etc. And we group these features together because we have the concept of dog. In contrast, LLMs process information sequentially and token by token. They don't see the big picture and the meaning of a sentence or an image until after they have examined each word or pixel. That is why they can't answer many kinds of questions that require common sense or understanding of the world. For example, they might not know that a cow is an animal that gives milk, even if they have seen the words cow, animal, and milk many times before. Human memory is associative and multi-layered. We have sensory memory that lasts a few milliseconds, working memory that lasts a few seconds and can hold a few items, and long-term memory that can store many items for a very long time. Moreover, the meaning of an item can change over time as we add new layers of meaning. For example, the word dog. Initially, we may only know that a dog is a four-legged furry creature that barks. Later, we may learn that dogs can be good or bad. LLMs, however, have only a short-lived context window of a few sentences or tokens. Also, the knowledge they have is limited to what was encoded in the training weights, and cannot change over time. Once trained, their parameters are mostly static. They don't forget things, but they also don't learn new things. Humans use both intuitive and logical thinking to reason. For example, when we see a cup on a table, we know that it's there even if we are not looking at it. However, LLMs cannot really understand the meaning of words or sentences, so they cannot truly reason. Instead, they simulate reasoning by generating the next most likely token, given the context, and by doing so, they sometimes produce plausible but incorrect answers. This is similar to human confabulation, where false memories are formed unintentionally. So in a sense, LLMs often hallucinate like humans, but their hallucinations are not intentional either. In summary, although LLMs are very impressive, they think very differently from humans. They are more like parrots that mimic human language than like fellow human beings, who share our thoughts and experiences. To be sure, LLMs are not conscious and do not have agency, intentionality, or subjective experiences. They are just programs that take an input and produce an output based on statistical regularities in the training data. Despite these differences, studying LLMs can still teach us a lot about human intelligence. By understanding how they work, we can better understand our own minds.